Good evening and welcome to our Board of Commissioners meeting this Tuesday, November 28, 2023. Tonight, we will have a moment of silence in lieu of our invocation. Our invocation will be followed by the pledge, which will be brought by firefighter Eric Miranda of Station 9 B Shift. For those of you who are willing and able, please join me in our moment of silence. Thank you. Okay. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our Board of Commissioners meeting is now called to order. At the top of our meeting today, we have 3 presentations. The first one will be brought by Commissioner Burrell to recognize a great program that she has helped to initiate, and that is to recognize Superior Pets for Patriotic Vets. For those of you who are here as part of that presentation, please join Commissioner Burrell up front.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it's an honor to be with y'all tonight. Most of you probably know the gentleman on my right, Jay Cunningham, who owns Superior Plumbing. And about 6 years ago, I started a program to free adoptions from the Cobb County Animal Shelter for veterans, dogs or cats, free of charge. And they're all vetted. They have their shots, they're spayed or neutered, and they're microchipped. So we started this program, and I looked to someone who's well known in the community, loves dogs and veterans, and Jay Cunningham stepped up and donated enough money for, first it was 50 adoptions. Well, when we got to 48, I called him up and I said, we're getting up to 50. He gave me some more money to the shelter to pay for the adoptions, and it grew and grew. So I have an article from the AJC from July of 2020 when we recognized number 150. Tonight we're here to recognize number 250. So we are grateful to you for your donations to help get our veterans a pet. We are grateful to our Cobb County Animal Shelter. Steve Hammond is our director. Officer Justice is a veteran and a police officer, and he recently got a dog from the shelter on this program. You weren't number 250, but... So I have a slide that the number 250, you don't have it? Ross has it. Where's Ross? Okay, in my announcements, do you have that? I think it's the last one on there. No? So anyway, Mr. Williamson is an Army vet. And this is him and his 3 kids. He's a single dad, and I hope he's watching tonight, but he couldn't be here with us. So this is when he adopted his little cat and his 3 kids. So he's here in spirit, and I just wanted to show the picture. And then also, we have a form that you can fill out, go to the shelter, and if you're a veteran, no charge. So thank you, Jay, for all your support financially and just being so helpful with this program.
Thank you for getting us started.
Yeah. And thank you, Steve, and your staff for always being there for our veterans and helping. We had a World War II veteran adopt a few years ago, and Fox 5 did a story on that, and it was really nice. But so if you know of any veterans, or if there are any veterans here with us tonight, go to the Cobb County Animal Shelter, take home a dog or a cat free of charge. Thank you, Jay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Steve. Oh, yeah, we need a picture.
Aw,
Yes, you have to have a picture.
thank you.
You're on TV.
Oh, come on, Steve, come on. Nobody else wants to join.
We do have a special dog in the audience. She's coming.
All right. Congratulations, Commissioner Burrow. All right, our next presentation will be brought by Commissioner Gambrill. Those of you who are here with SafePath and others who are part of this presentation, please join the commissioner up front.
So along with SafePath, we need to have our purchasing department come join us, please. This was our 5th year for the Gambrill Great Pumpkin Contest, and Charlie the Chomper, the Plants versus the Zombies from the purchasing department, took first place in the most creative pumpkin decorating category, which was judged by our youth from the First Presbyterian Church's Club 330. So congratulations.
Nice.
Second place went to Cobb County Time to Make the Donuts from the 4-H and UGA Extension Office. I don't know if we have anybody here from there. And third place was awarded to Crime Stops Here from the Sheriff's
That
Office.
was awesome, yes.
So the one that we raised the money for. In the most donation category, the winner was Dud from the 911 shift. So if we can have the Cobb County Department of Emergency Communications join us, please.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And if Jatan's here, she doesn't get it this year. Congratulations. The runner-up was Mr. Pumpkinhead by the fire department, and then Charlie the Chomper, which was the Plants versus the Zombies from the Cobb Purchasing Department, took third place in this category. So again, congratulations to all of our entrants, and thank you for helping us raise money for SafePath. And these pumpkins helped us raise $545 for SafePath. So again, thank you to all the departments that participated. Would you like to say something? Sure. Okay.
Hello, my name is Hannah Gieslin, and I'm with SafePath. And we're a private nonprofit that does all the intervention, investigation, prosecution, prevention, and treatment of childhood physical abuse, sexual abuse, childhood neglect, children who've witnessed homicide, and childhood sex trafficking all throughout Cobb County. So Definitely a heavy subject. I saw some of your heads nodding with me as I try to remember them all. So it's something I like to say, like, I'm not super happy we're here, but I'm thrilled that we are, because we're a resource that not a lot of people know about until they have to use us. And every day we see kids come into our waiting room. Really, it's like the worst day of their life. You see family, parents, non-offending caregivers come in, and then once they're done at Safe Path and they go through our therapy services, they leave brand new children. Like, we've seen children come in super duper shy, and by the end they know all of our names, they want to work there, they're best friends with Glinda. So really every bit of money, and Commissioner, your partnership helps us spread our mission so much. But I'll let Tiffany talk a little bit about the true star of the show, Glinda here.
Hey, everybody. Glinda, she's shedding a lot today. I'm Tiffany. I'm the Director of Services at Safe Path. I am a clinician. I'm a trauma clinician, and I've worked there for about 8 years. And Glinda is the service dog that works with me. I'm her handler. So she's at the office and she greets families when they come to the center when there's been allegations of child abuse, to try to help the children be comfortable. Glinda's able to do some things that we can't do. I mean, she helps people build trust, build rapport, and calm them down in situations that I've seen her work miracles that with children where adults were trying and having such a hard time, and she was able to get kids who weren't able to talk at all to tell us everything that's happened. And we're very appreciative of the support from Commissioner Gamble, and it's this support from the community that allows us to do all the things that we do, and we hope that none of you all need us, but we're here if you do.
Our final presentation this evening is to recognize Zarina Ahmed, a senior of Walton High School. Ms. Ahmed, if you can join us up front, I'm going to have your Commissioner, District 2 Commissioner Jerica Richardson, join us for this very special presentation. So nice to meet you. You're welcome. So not too long ago, I received a rather enthusiastic email from those who probably are none other than your parents, recognizing a significant accomplishment that you've had. And I'm grateful to be here today with your district commissioner to share with our audience and those who are watching a very big win that you've had recently that I think should make all of Cobb County very proud. The Cobb County Board of Commissioners recognizes you for being named Girl of the Year by Women in Technology. Yeah. Ms. Ahmed was selected from a highly competitive pool of more than 1,000 middle and high school students across Georgia for this prestigious award. As the recipient, she will receive a $5,000 scholarship. And this board is proud to recognize your accomplishments, and we are confident that you will continue to make significant contributions for the STEAM community and inspire future women in technology. This, the 20th day of November 2023. And I think it's very fitting because your commissioner also works in technology and probably has a fitting heart and experience for what you just recently accomplished. Yeah, so if you can tell us a little bit about what you did to earn this award.
Okay, hi. So I am a Women in Technology ambassador. I applied for the award after my dad and some Miss Paula Bolton and Miss Krista Jones, who are also amazing ladies who work in Women in Technology, after they encouraged me to apply. And basically, I've been working with WIT since my freshman year of high school, and I absolutely love the organization. What it does is such amazing work. It encourages girls to pursue STEAM careers, and even with there being a gap in girls trying to pursue more STEAM careers, WIT has completely demolished it. I mean, you go to these events and you see other professional women and you network with them and you can say that, I mean, I can say that I can be just like them and I can even amount to something greater. And I really do think with this organization and with the amount of women and girls impacted by it, it will make a huge difference in not only STEAM and technology in America, but really in the world globally.
Absolutely a wonderful honor. Very familiar with WIT, and stick with them. They're actually headquartered in Cobb County in the district, but WIT is, so congratulations. It's an amazing accomplishment, and you absolutely deserve this, so thank you. Parents, please join us. Good call.
We know that she's here because a little bit of work that you probably did to get to this accomplishment. Yeah, we could have you in the middle.
Smart and pretty.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. You're going to go very far. I want you to know that. To have a confidence to stand up in front of people you don't know and speak what you did the way that you did, your trajectory is going to be very far. So thank you. I'm humble. Thank you. Excuse me. All right. That concludes our presentations for this evening, and we are now at our first public comment.
Chairwoman,
Yes.
As the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate to review the related meeting rules. If you're coming up for public comment, please state your name, and if you are speaking on behalf of an organization, all comments should be addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for speakers to provide their comments to the board. The comments should not be impertinent, derogatory, offensive, or slanderous. To that end, the board encourages, regardless of the topic, for the audience to be respectful and courteous to the speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and to be heard by treating each other with civility. Statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County government. There is a timer on the podium to keep track of your time. The first public speaker who signed up is Denny Wilson.
Good evening. My name is Denny Wilson, and I live in District 4. I don't even know where to begin with this board and how you guys vote. But I'll start with taxes, because in watching some of the work session today, you guys just don't get it. I mean, and I'm just not understanding it. Maybe you guys should take a page out of Governor Kemp's playbook, because I remember when he was elected governor, he called over to, or he sent an email to all the department heads, and he said, let's cut where we can, but I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. And in doing that, in the past 3 years, his first 3 years, and going into this year, he had such a surplus, like about 10 million, that he was able to give back to the taxpayers. We got the $1,800 towards our assessment value on our home, and he gave anywhere from $250 to $500 back to the taxpayers from the surplus that he had accumulated. But you guys continuously take from the taxpayers, and you got to stop. I mean, because at some point in time, people are not going to be able to afford to stay in their homes. I mean, whatever happened to government for the people, by the people? Because when we come in here and we say to you, please don't do this, you guys got your 3 votes, so you go ahead and you just do it. It's like you don't even hear what the public has to say. And Ms. Cupid, I would really appreciate it if you would stop pounding your heart in front of my community and telling us how much you love us, because that's not true. If you love something, you don't leave it. And you left the community and you went to higher grounds, which is what I told everybody, that would happen if you got elevated to a higher position, and they laughed at me. But then they had to come back and say, hey, Denny, you were right. And even with that, you paraded around to East and West Cobb, and you told them what a poor community that we were, in which we were not. I sent you emails begging you to not say that area was a poor community. But in the defense of the commissioner, our current commissioner, the one thing that I could say about her, even though we've disagreed on a lot, she has never once degraded our community by calling it a poor community. She has never done that. But you did it time and time again. And now people are saying, oh, well, that's the bottom of the county. If anything is undesirable, put it there. You know, it's based on how you represented our county, our community, and what you spoke about when you moved around. So I'm just telling you guys, I mean, you got an election year next year. You guys are running for re-election. People are going to remember what you do. They're going to remember. And it's being talked about in the community, believe me. It is being talked about because you have senior citizens who can't even afford their medicine. And now here you're coming back with a stormwater tax after we've already gotten an increase in our tax bill. I think the condescending statement was made, well, it's only $5 and something. But 5 that times 12. I mean, that could be the difference between whether a senior citizen eat, or it could be the difference between whether a senior citizen can get their medication. And it's heartless for you to sit there and say, well, it's only $5. I mean, you may be able to afford it, but a lot of these seniors cannot. So again, I think you guys may need to call up Brian Kemp, and you may need to take a page out of his playbook and see how he built this surplus that he's built. And one last thing, what's going to happen next year is the homeowners would not have that $1,800 assessment credit to their tax bill. And your tax increase is really going to show next year because that $1,800 is not going to be there. I mean, it shielded them from some of the cost, but you're not going to have anything to shield it next year. So my advice to you is stop these tax increases. Stop this spending unnecessarily because it's not going to serve you well next year. Thank you.
The next public speaker is Jerry French.
Good day, everyone. Jerry French is my name. I'm a 40-year resident here of Cobb County, and I rise today to voice my objection to the M-SPLOST. I hope to clearly state 3 takeaways that I think others may share. I have obviously seen in 40 years some tremendous improvements in Cobb County, and a lot of it has been done with SPLOST dollars for which I voted. However, those SPLOST seem to be limited by the completion of a project and a sign that says, "Your SPLOST dollars at work." But not this one. The name should be changed from MSPLOST to Endless SPLOST. First thing I had in mind was to find out what the definition of need was. Because when you go to the website, the tax is supposed to meet the needs of riders. I attended 2 of the rollout meetings to ask someone how they could define a need of an unknown population of riders. And not one of the persons could. They couldn't tell me whether there was a survey taken, whether there was a response to an email campaign, whether requests had been pouring into the transportation department, or whether they just heard about some lady in Ackworth that wants to shop at Cumberland Mall. So my wife takes advantage of the transit system. She rides down the 100 down to Midtown every day. And it never has more than 20 riders for a 50-person bus. I personally monitored the transit station on the South Loop, and I counted an average of 15 riders on 4 of the local routes. So even granting this increase in population that everybody is projecting is going to happen, studies show that there is no proportional increase in transit ridership. So this brings us to the cost issue. I don't pretend to understand all the things that you were privy to as far as costs and planning and all that goes on with that, or even for financing such an endeavor like this. It's projected that you're going to try to ask to raise $10 billion with this SPLOST, but with cost overruns possibly coming out of the general fund, or possibly lower bids being shown at the beginning of this to make it more attractive to voters, but not knowing the final costs. So does it not seem wise that we should look for cost cutting wherever possible? Do we need a bus seating 50 people and costing $500,000 to transport a dozen folks? Smaller, cheaper, more easily maneuverable buses are already in use. Heck, my 8-passenger Honda minivan could probably suffice in many of these cases. So I ask yourself, can anyone reliably predict future costs? The inflation caused by Bidenomics makes everything uncontrollable. Labor, materials, cost of operation, fuel. Even federal matching funds are in doubt. Have you seen the Fed's balance sheet lately? Even Moody's rating gives it a negative prospect. So I don't have much faith in that. But lastly, 30 years? A 30-year tax? I'm not going to hang an indebtedness on my grandchildren, and even on the poorer people who are going to be supposedly served by this tax. So I say no to that. And coincidentally, today a news story came out that brought back a famous quote from President Ronald Reagan that said, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help.'" Well, I'd like to add another one of his quotes. The closest thing to eternal life in this world is a temporary government program. So here we have both of those things. And I'm glad that this will be on the ballot in November so that all of the voters in Cobb County can vote on it and not just have it be passed by a 3-2 vote of the board. Because I, for one, will be working tirelessly against it. Thank you for watching.
The next public speaker is Donna Gallagher.
So the topic that I'd like to speak on today.
Yes, if you could state
thank
your
you.
name again for the record,
I'm sorry,
please.
my name
That's
is
okay.
Donna Gallagher, and I'm from Smyrna. The topic I'd like to speak about today is high-density housing, and I know this is a subject that's come up several times before the board. And unfortunately, I feel some of my comments are going to be falling on deaf ears because we keep going down this road. So I'd like to address my comments actually to the young people, our Girl of the Year, and our young people that may be watching this online. High-density housing is a scam, and I'd like to explain to you how the scam works so that you can avoid it. So I bought my house in 1999 on the advice of my accountant. So after years and years of paying rent and not having deductions for a home mortgage or for other costs related to homeowners associations. I finally took my accountant's advice and purchased my house with every last nickel that I had in savings to go. But you're being sold this idea of a walkable city and this green utopia where everything you need is right in the same community. But what happens is only a portion of those houses or those apartments are considered actually affordable. And the rest of them have to make up for both the construction costs, the maintenance costs, and the subsidized costs of the cheap, affordable ones. And they don't stay affordable forever. So if you don't believe me, you can look at any downtown area in any city in the country, and those downtown apartments are the most expensive out there where you can't get into it. It's a little shoebox for thousands of dollars per month. Not only that, but these high-density houses are also not designed with enough parking on purpose. And that's to get you to give up your car so that you're trapped, right? So not only now are you having to give up your car, but you can't leave if you want to, and then you can't have friends over because they don't have any place to park either. So that leads you to go out to eat more and more, go to bars more and more, and you wonder, where is my money going? Why can't I afford to do anything? And you see TikTok videos and Twitter videos and just young people just crying like, I'm working so hard, why can't I make ends meet? Or old people saying, I've got to choose between groceries, and I'm paying all my money in rent. This is the trap. Like I said, after you've given up your car, you're really dependent on public transportation and more government in order to get you from one place to another. And then as times get tighter, and with all these people in such high density areas, like look at Atlantic Station. I don't want to go out there at night. I'm afraid to walk to my car at night because it's easy pickings to go steal from everyone if they're all in the same location. You also are not able to learn how to do things for yourself, such as little plumbing issues or how to hang a ceiling fan, because you can just always call the maintenance man instead of having to figure that out yourself. I point out that none of the commissioners here live in high-density housing. They all have houses. They all have cars. So what does that tell you? Just think about it. The people that are pushing this idea of high-density housing are not your friends. They are receiving incentives from developers to sell you out and to sell your future out. And that really upsets me, and that's why I wanted to speak today. If you want to be successful in life, learn what I learned in my 20s and build equity. There's such great things we can do with depressed areas of the city in terms of revitalization projects or townhouses or condos where you actually build equity and wealth. And for the commissioners, like I said, I know not all of you support the projects that I'm talking about, and it's not too late for you to stop down this road of selling the future of our young people. And I hope the next time that you guys look in the mirror, you'll remember this speech and say, is that the person that I want to be, of selling out these young people's future and the reason that they can't get out of this vicious cycle? Please don't do that to them. There's such better options. We have a beautiful young girl, now women in technology, and I don't want her back here in 10, 15 years saying, why can't I get out of this?
Ma'am, sorry, your time's up.
Thank you for allowing me to speak.
The next speaker is Sophie Farrow.
Hi, Sophia Farouk, Smyrna. Honorable Commissioners, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you. I am addressing you today because for months I've been coming here listening to your constituents, voters, taxpayers plead and impress upon you about the costs of everything that you seem to be approving. Month after month, people share with you how they cannot afford their prescriptions, their bills, and now their taxes. And here we are. I just watch as you keep approving. The community is speaking. We are on blogs, we are on social media, we are chatting about, majority of you, actually all of you except one, and they're all very upset about how you are allocating funds, how there's overages on every project, how there seems to be money suddenly available to fund things that should have gone back to taxpayers. The money never seems to go back to taxpayers. So let me share with you what's going on. I know month after month it gets mentioned along the way, but maybe it's being lost upon you. There are interest rates that are skyrocketing. That's impacting your constituents, your community. Household debt is increasing alarmingly. In the credit card industry, it's shocking, and we're expecting defaults to begin happening soon. Banks are failing, retailers are closing. We see it in our community here in Cobb. It's everywhere. And despite these warnings, the taxpayers have increased costs coming to them from you, all of you. And that needs to be considered a little more carefully as you look to not only the fiscal year you've just started, but the fiscal year in the future that you seem to be voting on and putting projects towards. Some of those projects, interestingly, are how is it that Ms. Cupid is able to have one budgeted employee and yet 6 have been hired? The one budgeted employee was budgeted for $110,000, I believe, and instead the 6 are being employed at $25 to $55 an hour. That's concerning. That's very concerning. In the business world, we don't do that. In the business world, we look to our employees to cut costs, save costs, and actually come in under budget and on time. That doesn't seem to be happening as we look to Commissioner Burrell's project of the Gritters Library, which was originally presented at $2.9 million, and now we're looking at $11 million. I know there's been some very, very nice ways of finding some funds here and there, but where are those funds coming from, and why aren't people being held accountable to present the exact sum that projects should be coming in at, with proposals coming in accurately? Proposals are not being presented accurately if an overage like $11 million is suddenly presented. This is fiscal irresponsibility. This is not fiscal accountability. I'm asking you to hold your staff to higher levels, to hold county employees to higher levels. I know it comes before you and you're left making a decision as projects have been approved, but when do we claw back? When do we stop spending? When do we care about the taxpayers who are saying enough is enough? We are watching you. Please heed the warnings, because you're up for election. And we are looking to find people who will be accountable, responsible. And for those that look to go to new offices, we're also thinking of you too and what you will do at the federal level. So please heed our warning. We look for accountability, responsibility, and cost savings. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next public speaker is Donald Barth.
I didn't bring 2 cents with me, but I'm going to speak anyway. Donald Barth over in Marietta. Ladies, first off, we're going to start off with something good. I went to the tax assessor's board today. I had a hearing, and I met 2 fine gentlemen over there. Not many over there, I can tell you, after going through the Board of Equalization. Today, I met 2 that really acted like they gave a darn. Now, let's get down to something. A county is run as a government for the people. Last meeting, something came up. Old Glenn Brody come down here and said, I won't. Hell, I want too. I'm on a budget. I want the hell out of stuff. I'm still on a budget. Wanting and getting are two different things. You see that guy over there, that officer? Now, if you want to spend money, let's spend money on public safety first. How in the hell do you need a court system if you don't have a police system? If the building's going to burn down and I'm going to die of a heart attack and nobody's going to give me CPR, I need a fireman every so often. I had to call 911. We need them. We need a couple of potholes patched. I know he's sitting back there, but what I need you to understand, what's an ethics? What's in ethics? That's when you do something against the policy that you set. Kelly says, I think that's wrong. And you stand there, Chairwoman, and you say, yeah, I know it's wrong, but we're going to do it anyway. You want me to squat in the middle of the floor? It's wrong. You want me to do it anyway? Do you not understand you have an obligation to the people? Do any of you? Now, I'm not mad at you at all because I have seen what you have done for the South Side, which is, you know, amazing that you are bringing it up. And of course, there's no reason it never should have gotten fair and equitable treatment. Again, I live in Ward 7 in Marietta. I know what BS is. But right now, I wanted to file an ethics charge on you, ethics complaint. And all it says, it's not something that says you did something illegal. It says you broke some barriers. And that's what an ethics is. So when you were over there messing around and at the end of the Dobbins Air Force Base, and you decided to go against protocol and slap some multifamily where it didn't belong, we should have filed ethics on you. That's wrong, and it doesn't go away. When you stand here and give that man more money than you give the judges, hell, we don't need him if we don't have a judge to take care of what he did. He needs to do what he does, and we need as much help for the public safety. Remember, we lost 2 fine officers last year. There's nothing going to bring them back, but the best thing we can do is make sure they're the last 2 in Cobb County ever. I don't want to stand on the side of the road again and cry because you want to give some money away that's not yours to give. Do I make myself clear? Do I sound like I'm Perry Price shooting a shot up here? It's not happening. I'm upset. The whole thing is out of control. The tax assessment system is out of control. It's not fair. It's not equitable. You need tax money to run a county. We understand that. How much tax money now? You don't understand that. The rest of us do. I got a fixed income. Come the 3rd, old Uncle Sam going to throw a little something in the bank account. By the 10th, I pretty much paid everything that needs priority payment. About the 17th, I can start spending what's left. I don't have a well to go to. I don't have all these people to reach in their pocket. I'm an old person. When Denny told you and the other lady told you, you're trying to force some of us out of Cobb County. Affordable housing is affordable housing.
Mr. Barth, I'm sorry, your time's up.
And
the
we
next
need to
speaker
be
is
able to
Tyler
afford a
Bigler.
clock.
Tyler Bigler.
Hi, my name is Tyler Bigler. I'm from District 3. Good evening, commissioners, chairwoman, staff. I'm here to talk about a day that just passed recently, Black Friday. It's the day that reveals one of the worst flaws in the American landscape. We have way too much parking. Every year, on the biggest retail shopping day of the season, an observer can find swaths of parking at retail locations vacant. Organizations like Strong Towns and the Parking Reform Network draw attention to how wasteful and destructive parking requirements are marring our landscapes and making our places less productive. I personally visited 7 large retail shopping centers in the general town center region and took photos of them on Black Friday, and none of them were full or at capacity or half capacity in many cases. Parking mandates, which require developers to provide a certain number of parking spaces for each project, play out in many undesirable ways for North America's towns and cities. Residential parking required to make it prohibitively expensive to build small-scale housing. Commercial mandates impede many small businesses. Initially, a developer may pay for the parking, then it's the tenant, then it's the customer in the form of higher prices. The cost of parking has seeped into everything we buy. When the cost of parking is hidden in the prices of other foods and services, no one can pay less for parking by using less of it. Bundling the cost of parking into high prices for everything else skews travel choices towards cars and away from walking, cycling, and transit. When the cost of parking is hidden in the prices of, duplicate. But nowhere are these policies more ridiculous and visually striking than in parking at large-scale commercial developments such as shopping centers and big box stores. As Strong Towns has shown over the years, thousands of acres have been paved over to prepare for a mythical maximum number of shoppers on Black Friday. From a county perspective, this land is completely unproductive and may become a liability. Cities have parking mandates because they want to make sure there's enough parking for a Taylor Swift concert or for busy shopping days. Black Friday comes about once a year and Taylor Swift once a lifetime, but parking mandates make our lives worse all year. This is a quote from Tony Jordan of the Parking Reform Network, which is an organization that reports and tracks parking minimums eliminations across the country, which is a growing movement that is happening in more cities and counties across the U.S. If you want a strong and productive place, one of the best, fastest things you can do is remove parking mandates and subsidies. And this is somewhat of a response to the UDC draft that came out recently. Very excited. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but it seemed a little hesitant to take a bigger step with parking minimums. There's an effort to lower them potentially, but I think they should just go away entirely. And there's a lot of data. I recently read 2 different books on parking minimums, which seems insane to me. But there's a lot of good data and a lot of good modern ways of approaching it because of the data that's out there to justify parking minimums from the ITE. I can't remember the meaning of it's a transit or a transportation engineering group. The data they provide for parking minimums is often based off of 1 data point or 2 data points. And in many cases, they even have statements on their chart to say, these are not conclusive, this is very limited data, but people will take those numbers and turn them into arbitrary minimums. So thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Chairwoman, that concludes the first portion of the public comment for this evening.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you to those who came out for public comment. We are now at our consent agenda. The matters on the consent agenda scroll on the screen prior to the meeting and will scroll on the screen at the end of consent. Commissioners, we do have some non-agenda items to add to the end of our consent agenda, and I'm going to ask for your support for adding these items. The first one is to authorize the settlement with Ashton Burley's Antilitum pursuant to the direction discussed in executive session on September 25th, 2023. Can I get a motion to add that to consent?
So moved.
All right, and Commissioner Burl, I see you're adding your statement to the clerk. Okay, so I have a motion. Was there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Gamble?
I'd like the clerk to record my statement as is found on page 71 of the current agenda. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion or questions? Call the question. Okay, the motion carries 5-0. We also have another matter, which is to authorize settlement of workers' compensation on behalf of Daniel Ogo pursuant to the direction and within the terms discussed in executive session on November 27th, 2023. Is there a motion to add that to consent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Commissioners. Just want to bring some attention to consent in that agenda item number 14 has been withdrawn for further consideration regarding the Opioid Abatement Advisory Council. Are there any other comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? Okay, with that, Commissioners, I move that we approve the consent agenda as it has been revised and to authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Commissioners. We are now at our regular agenda, and our first tab is with respect to transportation.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager Drew Ressler with DOT. We have 5 items for your consideration this evening. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the contract with Baldwin Paving Company Incorporated for resurfacing contract 2023-4 countywide major thoroughfare local maintenance improvement grant, project B2909, to include school zone improvements on Cass Hill Road at Still Elementary School in an amount not to exceed $253,365.61. Project number B2803, approve a contract time extension through July 31st, 2024. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve the recommended ranking of the 3 most qualified firms for preliminary engineering of South Cobb Drive SR 280 traffic safety improvements, Cobb County Project B2435, and authorize negotiations for scope of services and fees beginning with the top-ranked firm, Parsons Transportation Group Incorporated.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve the recommended ranking of the 3 most qualified firms for preliminary engineering of Cobb Parkway at Blackacre Trail, 3rd Army Road intersection realignment, Cobb County Project B2436, and authorize negotiations for scope of services and fees beginning with the top-ranked firm, Trans Systems Corporation.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second, and this is pretty exciting, huh? For this realignment.
This is one of our most dangerous intersections, so yes, I know the folks up there will be very happy to see this.
Congrats.
Yeah. Is there any additional discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a memorandum of agreement with Georgia Department of Transportation for preliminary engineering oversight of Johnson Ferry Road at Shallowford Road intersection improvements, project number B2437. Authorize payment of a preliminary engineering oversight fee to Georgia Department of Transportation in the amount of $30,000. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. I believe we have one more.
And our final item this evening is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Williams Power and Signal LLC in an amount not to exceed $396,926.63 for traffic signal pole replacements at Sandy Plains Road at Gordy Parkway, Powder Springs Road at Forest Hill Road, Paper Mill Road at Terrell Mill Road, and Mars Hill Road at Hadaway Road. Project numbers B2554, 2555, 2556, and 2558, respectively. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Okay, so moved as presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. And the motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you.
We are now at our Public Services Agency tab, and our two matters will be brought by our Parks Department.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Madam County Manager. Two items for consideration this evening. Our first item is for the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with Access Infrastructure to provide professional design and construction administration services for Kemp Family Park under the 2022 Parks Plus program. This contract includes design development and construction administration for the first phase of the Kemp Family Park Master Plan as approved by the BOC on January 14th, 2020. We ask the BOC approve the contract with Access Infrastructure for an amount not to exceed $79,945 for professional design services and construction administration at Kemp Family Park. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved. Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our second item is to approve an amendment to the agreement with Carroll Daniel Construction Company to establish the GMP, or guaranteed maximum price, for construction manager at risk services for the construction of the new Osborne Area Recreation and Community Center under the 2016 and 2022 Parks Plus program. On May 10th, 2022, the Board of Commissioners awarded a construction manager at risk contract to Carroll Daniel Construction Company, and the contract was executed on July 21st, 2022. The contract provided funding for pre-construction and overhead totaling $650,000 as a portion of the guaranteed maximum price for this project. The contract further provided that prior to performance of construction services, the contractor would prepare and deliver to the county a guaranteed maximum price for the project. This agenda item requests approval of funding representing the remaining component of the GMP. We ask the BOC approve the amendment to the agreement with Carroll Daniel Construction to establish the guaranteed maximum price in an amount not to exceed $13,697,025 for construction manager at-risk services for the construction of the new Osborne Area Recreation Community Center under the 2016-2022 Parks Plus programs. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
We are now at our next tab, which is for our Public Safety Agency.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. On February 14, 2023, the Board of Commissioners approved the appropriation of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 funding for the Cobb Co-Responder Program for behavioral health emergencies to provide personnel, vehicles, equipment, training, and software in an amount of $2,741,174. We're asking the Commissioners to authorize the creation of 11 positions approved for the Cobb Co-Responder Program to include 8 grade PO2 positions in general fund.
Director, can you speak a little bit closer to the mic for some reason?
Allocated as 2. We're asking the Commissioners to authorize the creation of 11 positions approved for the Cobb Co-Responder Program to include 8 grade PO2 positions in general fund, allocated as 2 police officers in Police Unit 2100 and 6 deputy sheriffs and Sheriff's Admin Unit 9220, and 3 fire positions in Fire Fund Unit 1000. Further authorize the use of available state contracts, Sourcewell, and other contracted or cooperative pricing agreements for the procurement of vehicles and equipment for these positions. Authorize the corresponding budget and personnel transactions, and authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Okay. So moved as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Just like to identify for one of our speakers that this is a robust investment in public safety. We'll call the question. The motion passes 5-0. Thank you. I believe
Thank you.
we have
Our second
another
item is to ask the Board of Commissioners to authorize a request to include contingency funding within the FY 2025 annual budget for safety, security, and transportation expenses associated with hosting the 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star Game and sponsored events in the amount of $1,589,752. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions, specifically the submission of this request for inclusion in the proposed FY 2025 annual budget proposal, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents and the materials and money we're asking for will be shared for PD, SO, Fire, 911, DOT, Parks, and Communications.
Thank you. I move that we approve this agenda item as it has been presented.
Second.
Is there further discussion? We are in a very fortunate position to have another bite of the apple of having the All-Star Game here in Cobb County.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm pleased that we are geared up and ready to host this event once again and appreciate the preparation that's already starting to take place with many of our staff members and members of the community.
Well, thank you, and we're excited too.
Wonderful. So we had a motion, a second. I'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
And we are at our second public comment.
Thank you, Chairwoman. The public speaker that signed up is Krista Blue.
Hi, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Krista Blue, District 2. I was here 14 months ago, and I presented a community garden project, the People's Garden Project. And I'm very passionate about the People's Garden Project. I was working with the city of Smyrna. My commissioner and Julie Barwick would keep Smyrna beautiful. I've located a government grant that will help purchase the garden, and now I'm back presenting it to you guys. This is a National Park Service grant that will cover the location because it's in a battlefield land. So the park is located across the street from the Smyrna Government Center, and it is adjacent to Smyrna Village and walking distance from Smyrna Museum. So if you guys can point me in the right direction where I can get help with the government grant. And also, I have submitted another proposal for affordable housing. And this affordable housing project is focusing on bringing cottage home communities and micro home communities to the county. I would like to see if we can set up some type of zoning hearing for that as well. And for the last part, I have submitted a project for 25 families in need. I've been experiencing a lot of obstacles and hardships when it comes to helping families in need. The nonprofit organizations that have received the funds from ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act, specifically support services, no one has received the funds. And I think a few nonprofit organizations have received the funds, but not as much as they approved the families. So they approved over hundreds of thousands of dollars to help the families, but the money's not there. And so I've created a project and submitted it to my commissioner to help 25 families in need. And I do have a nonprofit organization, and it is to help serve the underserved communities, disproportionate communities, and minorities. And so I'm here to see if you guys can help me help the families. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, that's the only speaker that signed up for the second portion.
Thank you, Bill. We are now at the Appointments tab, and I have the first tab, which I'm going to turn over to Commissioner Sheffield, as it is with respect to appointments of the Hospital Authority of Cobb County, which is the hospital authority associated with Wellstar Cobb off of Austell Road in District 4.
Thank you. I make a motion to approve the appointments to the hospital authority as presented on agenda item number 25, as recommended.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. One moment, Commissioners. And Commissioners, I move, or no move necessary, as this is just an announcement for the last 3 appointments. I announce the appointment of Andrew Bramlett to the Cemetery Preservation Commission, and I'm grateful to have him here as has been active in supporting Cobb County government as a student, and from a homeschool student, he's now a college student at KSU, and we're grateful to have him. I'd also like to announce the appointment of Troy Griffith to the Cobb Workforce Development Board. And I believe our last announcement will be brought by Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. I would like to announce the appointment of Samuel Ballard to the Heating and Air Conditioning Advisory Board. This position has been vacant for a while, but and I would like to thank Barry Abernathy with E. Smith Heating and Air for his many years of service on this board.
Thank you, Commissioner. That concludes our appointments tab for this evening, and we are now at the Commissioner's Public Address. Once we get everything up, we will begin with Commissioner Gambrell.
Thank you. Planning your lawn care, weeds, fungus, and spring green up. You can join the UGA Extension via Zoom on Thursday, November 30th at 6:30 p.m. to discover tips and strategies for achieving your dream lawn. Daniel Price will present a comprehensive plan for lawn maintenance, including helpful tips and tricks. You can scan the QR code on the flyer or call 770-528-4070 to register. Calvary Children's Home will once again be selling their Christmas trees to benefit their children's home. Calvary Children's Home is located at 1430 Lost Mountain Road in Powder Springs. The funds generated will be used to finance the children's church and home events, as well as various excursions and programs throughout the year. To purchase a Christmas tree or contribute a tree to a family in need during this festive period, kindly reach out to Brian Busby at 404-731-1500 for more details or pricing. The lot hours are Monday through Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 9, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sundays from 12:30 to 6:30. Blue Thanksgiving Incorporated provided a Thanksgiving feast to law enforcement personnel who were on duty, including the Cobb County Police Department, Kennesaw Police Department, Ackworth Police Department, the Cobb County Sheriff's Office, and more. This marked the 10th year of delivering meals to officers. While not everyone gets Thanksgiving Day off, Blue Thanksgiving Incorporated supports law enforcement officers and deputies throughout Cobb County all year round with various projects and campaigns. On Giving Tuesday, which is today, consider making a tax-deductible donation to support their efforts by scanning the QR code or visiting their website at www.bluthanksgiving.org. www.bluethanksgiving.com/donate. You can join the cause and help show our officers that our community truly cares. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We are now at Commissioner Richardson.
All right, from the office. We've got our D2 holiday food drive still going on. Our office is partnering with the Center of Family Resources to host a food drive to help families in need during the holiday season. Locations for drop-off are all of our libraries, Sewell Mill Library, Vinings, and East Cobb. Donations will be collected from November 15th through December 22nd. All donations will go to CFR. For any questions, please contact our office. You can reach Megan at megan.postel@cobbcounty.org. District 2 on the Faith and Sustainability podcast. I had the pleasure of participating as a guest speaker on the Archdiocese of Atlanta's Faith and Sustainability podcast. We discussed finding the corner of faith and sustainability within our communities. Scan the QR code to listen to the podcast now and to check out the other podcasts in their series. And board appointments for anyone that's interested in being involved on boards or authorities. Are you interested in getting involved with Cobb County government or knowing how things work or operate and help influence some of these decisions? Well, we have our applications open because I have several open seats at this point in time. These are boards that help assist in our decisions. They are advisory groups, and they're comprised of county residents, and they report either directly to the Board of Commissioners or to individual county departments. Scan the QR code if you are interested in applying. It is open for everyone. And then from the community, got a couple of things here. You can see Santa Claus at Santa's post office. So Santa Claus is once again setting up shop at his post office at the Battery from Friday, November 24th through December 24th. Santa will continue the time-honored tradition of greeting local children in the Truist Holiday Community Center located at the corner of Power Alley and Battery Avenue. Families are invited to bring their handwritten letters to Santa, postage not required, at his official Atlanta outpost. Santa's helpers will take care of the rest. This free opportunity allows parents and guardians to take their own photos of their children interacting with Santa as he listens to their wish lists. And we don't have a slide for it, but where I will be this weekend is at East Cobb Park for the tree lighting ceremony. So certainly come hang out December 3rd at 6 p.m. And then lastly, Lewis A. Ray Library, yay. They reopened Monday, November 27th after closing in 2022 for renovations. The facility originally opened 56 years ago and has served as a small library known for serving families from the Oakdale community. The updated library has an added emphasis on children's collections, resources, and programming, and the library is located at 4500 Oakdale Road, Smyrna. That concludes all of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now I'll turn things over to Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. Celebrate the holidays through music. Get in the holiday spirit with the Cobb New Horizons Symphonic Band. Join them for a free concert featuring popular holiday music for all ages, 2 p.m. this Saturday, December 2nd, at the Lassiter High School Concert Hall, 2601 Shallifer Road, Marietta. There's still time to honor our veterans. The Cobb Veterans Memorial Foundation will be celebrating National Wreaths Across America Day on Saturday, December 16th. The mission is to adorn each veteran's grave in the Marietta National Cemetery with a wreath. That's a lot of wreaths, so your help is needed. And today is actually the last day to sponsor a wreath. You can make a donation going online to wreathsacrossamerica.org/GA0378P, and a portion of the wreath sponsored will go towards building the new Cobb Veterans Memorial Park. There are flyers and cards in the back table just outside the entrance to this room with a QR code. It's real easy to do, and we'd love to have your support for our veterans so that every grave has a wreath. And now I'd like to introduce our newest canines with Cobb County Police. They were recently certified and are ready and eager to go to work. So we thank our human and canine officers for your service. Pictured left to right are Metro and his handler, Officer Muncie, Chief and his handler, Officer McMullen, and Vader and his handler, Officer Barnett. Thank you for your service. And you saw earlier our presentation, we reached a milestone with the Superior Pets for Patriotic Vets program. There are adoption forms in the back entrance table as well. And we thank Mr. Williamson and his 3 precious children there for his service in the U.S. Army for 5+ years and for adopting this beautiful cat. And then our contact information, if you need to email me or call me or my assistant, and sign up for our newsletters, www.cobbcounty.org/Burl. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burl. We'll now turn things over to Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Chair. District 4 news and updates. Today is Giving Tuesday, and it's not too late to give. Giving Tuesday was initiated in 2012 and is regarded as a global generosity movement. There are 2 great organizations for consideration of your generosity. The Gift of Music is a nonprofit that provides young people access to the world of music no matter their circumstances. Exposure to playing musical instruments can provide an environment to build positive social bonds, confidence, teamwork, leadership, and boost academic achievement. Scan the QR code to donate today. For more information, visit giftofmusic.org. And the Austell Youth Innovation Center is a nonprofit organization whose inspiration is to provide a more helpful future for youth through engagement in innovative STEAM learning experiences. Currently, the organization is seeking donations to help purchase a shuttle bus to extend its reach to youth in the area. To learn more about the organization, visit austellyouthinnovationcenter.com. District 4 kicks, wrong slide. Okay, all right, there we go. District 4 kicks off 2 events for the Christmas season this Friday, December 1st. Join me at the Mabel House from 5:30 to 8:30 as we light the Christmas tree and ring in the joyous month and all it has to offer. Enjoy live entertainment, collect candy, vote on your favorite gingerbread house, find your way through a candy cane forest, or warm yourself with hot cocoa while watching a seasonal classic on a large LED screen. The event is free with the annual tree lighting at 7 p.m. I will add a note, we anticipate 100% rain, and if that's the case, we'll have a rain date, and I'll include that date in next week's newsletter. Also, the City of Powder Springs will host its annual Christmas parade at 6:30 p.m. in downtown Powder Springs. Join Santa as he makes his entry into Powder Springs. Immediately following the parade, after the parade, head over to Thurman Springs Park to see the lighting of the beautiful Christmas tree. Enjoy complimentary cocoa, cookies, and photos with Santa. Join me and Planning Commissioner Michael Hughes for November's In the Zone community meeting tomorrow, November 29th at 7 p.m. Our monthly meetings are virtual and a great way to learn about upcoming zoning cases in District 4. There are 10 scheduled applications for December. I will also make an announcement for a new restaurant on Veterans Memorial Highway at the meeting. Please email Rwanda McIntosh at cobbcounty.org for the meeting link. Hope to see you there. It has been a year-plus process from approving the zoning application to the frame and installation of the new Chipotle restaurant on Floyd Road. The construction is on track to be completed before the end of the first quarter 2024. The restaurant will be a great addition to the pedestrian-friendly community and is just yards from the Silver Comet Trail. And finally, join me as I welcome District 4's new Commission Assistant, Rwanda McIntosh. Ms. McIntosh has been a part of the Cobb County team for 5 years. She has lived in and around Cobb County for 10 years. She enjoys cooking and spending time with her family. She is also excited about the opportunity to serve in her new role and looks forward to working alongside me to make positive impacts in District 4. Welcome.
Welcome. Speech. No. Good. All right. Thank you all for tuning in today, and thank you, commissioners, for today's meeting and those who are here at public comment. Today, respects were paid to former First Lady Rosalind Carter as she was honored at a tribute service in Atlanta. And over the past few days, I've had opportunity to learn more about what a powerhouse this woman was and the unique opportunity she had to step up and lead as a First Lady at a time when a woman might not have been perceived to have that kind of role. And there are a couple of quotes that she had that I wanted to share that resonated with me. Okay. And the first one is, a leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. The second quote is, if you don't accept failure as a possibility, you don't set high goals. You don't branch out. You don't try. You don't take the risk. In serving our county, it is my hope that we set the goals high for who and what we want to be as a county. And when we set high goals, we take an awesome risk. For some people, that risk, as has been shared today, can be perceived as not being reelected. But as was shared in the quote, that when you set high goals, you have to branch out and you have to try. And up here are women who are trying their best to set goals for what we perceive Cobb County can and should be. And we don't know what will be the cost of that risk. But I perceive every day when we make the tough decisions for our citizens, that those risks are worth it. Thank you for tuning in today. I pray that all of you have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you will join us at our next Board of Commissioners meeting. Thank you.